I started cooking. I started cooking quite young. I think I was maybe 8 or 9. Jollof rice was something that I never really used to make. It wasn't necessarily the biggest recipe in my house. And as time went on, I think from going to school, going to university, I realized that, oh, jollof rice was a big thing. And for some strange reason, it didn't come so easy to me. I would try and I would just feel like something is missing. There's just something that is not just there. And I talk about my talent for cooking because the way people know how to sing is kind of how I know how to cook. Like these ideas just come to mind and then I put them into practice. Now, for the jollof rice recipe, and a lot of people probably wonder like, why did you combine our 3 innovations, which is the patty jollof, the asun paste, and the pepper chicken paste. Like, I'm very unconventional when it comes to recipes, especially because I'm very big on our local recipes and our local flavors, and I feel like that's why Gino and I match so nicely. But yeah, so so it was, I had been able to now figure out from trials and errors what my major issues were with making jollof rice, and I had now established an amazing jollof rice that led me on to winning, the jollof face-off between Nigeria and, another country. And, and moving on from there, when I started selling food, there were so many things. Everyone is always coming up with something new, and you want to provide your consumers with something delicious and something different, And just on a random day, quite frankly, I was like, I had goat's meat, and I was making jollof rice, and the thought just came to me like, what if I, fried my base with goat head to infuse the goat flavor inside the jollof rice, and I made it and I sent it to a client, and they really, really, really liked it, and that's what gave birth to the asun jollof rice that I started selling, right? And I remember when Gino and I, met, when they were cutting me, there were so many agreements that we had, and I told them, I was like, I remember having this conversation with Vincent, and I'm like, there's so many things, though, like, I want cubes, I want paste, I want this, and they're like, you're in the right place, but there are things that we've been working on, you're going to be so happy with what we've put together so far. And I remember in January when I think they sent me a few samples for the cubes and the asun paste, and I'm like, yeah, this is it, like, this is actually, like, I combined all 3 because pepper chicken had already been launched the year before, and like patty jollof was already there. I'm like, let me combine all 3 and see what we get. And when I made it, I texted her, I'm like, see, this is all you need to make your jollof game. So when the idea to make the largest pot of jollof rice came, honestly, I figured that this recipe has been a bestseller in my restaurant. This recipe has probably bought me quite a number of nice things. And I think Nigerians need to get a feel of it. And the beautiful thing is, before now, I would have to go through so many steps to get there. But because of these new innovations, it has cut down my prep time by half, which is why I'm constantly pushing it. And someone will say, oh, she's marketing because she's their brand ambassador. I promise you, a trial will convince you. It is next level. We're going to publish the recipe for you to see soon.